your number one hype gal here, and welcome to the weekly warm-up, your weekly dose to feel a little more confident and a lot more human. I'm Jess McDowell, and each week I'll share life updates, mindset shifts, product faves, the little things that help me stay grounded, energized, and moving and grooving. Whether you're heading out for a jog, sipping your morning coffee, or just need a midweek pick-me-up, this is your warm-up for living a real balanced life. So take a breath, shake it out, and let's dive in. Welcome back to the weekly warm-up podcast. I am really loving this series, and I think I've been saying that now for the past 3 weeks in a row. We have been doing a new season, a new series called Women Going the Distance, and I've been having on such amazing guests that are within my community and that I look up to and that I care about. And today we have a very special guest, and we're kind of switching gears because lately I've had on people within the fitness industry, whether it's coaches or whether it's athletes. Well, this is an ex-athlete, but today we have on a physical therapist, one of my favorites, and her name is Sarah. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so
Hi.
much. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, are you
Uh,
kidding me?
no, it's been great. I'm so happy that we even got connected in the first place.
Hmm.
Really, I think it was like just I went to one of your events and you like had us on, and then I feel like we instantly clicked, and then from there it's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
just kind of accelerating from there.
And then
So
you've
like,
worked on my body.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
getting me back into running now. It's like you inspire me. I love like watching everything that you do, and like
Thanks.
I was telling you before, like signed up for a half marathon. I'm like, you're inspiring me to get back into running.
Yeah, we love that. We're gonna have to talk about that. I want to help
Yeah,
you.
yeah, please.
You help me, I help you.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, since we're on the topic of fitness and physical therapy and all things in between, give the listeners a little bio, a little background about who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Segan. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and I came down to Miami for physical therapy school. Really thought that I was just going to do my time here and leave. And here I am now. So I did my time. I'm now at Force Physical Therapy, specifically at the Wynwood location. I grew up playing soccer, basketball. I mean, I ran track, like I did running, but it wasn't always my thing per se. I played soccer in college. I think that's kind of what catapulted me into doing physical therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I've been working ever since in the area, and it's been really cool to grow and see others around me grow. So yeah,
Yeah, no, it's great. When you said that we met at an event, I think it was the turkey trot event that I did.
it
And
was.
right?
Yeah, I think so. It was in Miami Beach for sure. It was at like
Yeah.
one of the hotels.
Yeah. So no, that was at the Gates Hotel. It was the turkey trot I did
Yes,
for Fabletics, and we
yes,
were supporting Souls for Souls, and it was all the little
yes,
like booths
yes.
and everything.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that was so much fun. And then now you're coming to basically any event that we do. I always have you all come along because you
I
guys are the
love it.
best.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, the events that you guys run are the best too. Like I personally love it because it's a good community of people. You can tell that people have been, and I've seen the same people too come up, which is really cool to see the community aspect. I think a lot of times in events here, which is great. Anything that gets people active is amazing, but I love being able to see the consistency of people and like the
Yeah.
community that honestly that you build, which is pretty amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, they're really great. And they love that when they know that y'all are coming because, then they know that they're going to get some work done. But it's like you said, it's also cool to be able to see them again. You know what I mean? And kind of like have that
Yeah.
connection and familiar face.
Yeah, and then I've even been able to see a couple, like there's a couple that I've seen from your events that come to see me now, which is amazing because a lot of times too, it's you can tell that they're excited about running and they're interested in their bodies and maintaining that, which is
Hmm.
really amazing because sometimes you go to events and then they're like, oh, just give me this little dump. They're like, hey, I've been having this, like, how is this going to make me better? Like, what can I do? So it's really nice to see their engagement in it as well.
Yeah, no. And I really stress that a lot with all my people about the importance of recovery and making sure that you have that good recovery plan. I mean, yes, stretching on your own is great and hydration and blah, blah, blah. But like you also, if you're working out a lot and you're a hybrid athlete or you're a runner, having somebody that you can rely on to really help with those kinks and really to make sure that your body's in, good shape and tuned up is so important. So I'm glad that they trust you and they go to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
University of Miami, you're an alum. I mean, roll tide, but I'll allow it. You built your career in this city. How has Miami wellness and the sports scene evolved since you first started studying physical therapy?
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing about Miami is, I mean, I didn't grow up here too. So just coming to Miami and seeing the fitness culture in general is different than I've experienced anywhere. And even
Yeah.
being someone that's been involved in athletics my whole life,
Hmm.
I've never seen just community that, one, there's a lot of outreach for it, and also just people so dedicated to it. Like you can tell people like love being able to work out and build community around it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I even remember, I don't think I've ever been anywhere where there's as many run clubs. I didn't even know what High Rocks was
Yeah. Yeah.
until I came to Miami, and now it's like, okay, well, now I want to do a High Rocks, you know? And so it's super cool to see the different avenues. And the more I've been involved within the career and have been able to do these different outreach community events too, it opens my eyes to what's out there. Like last night, I did a hip hop class. Like I wouldn't have even ever done.
Girl,
Yeah, I know, right?
was it
But
fun?
so it was the most fun. You
Yeah.
should come to
No,
you
I'd
should
be
come to
down.
the one.
I love a good hip hop class. It's just like, how is the choreography?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, I am not a dancer. Like, even though, yes, I'm athletic, like, I don't really have that, I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah, it's more fun because it's choreographed. I think it's like, okay, this is a skill I can learn, and it's not this like freestyle version. And they break it down so well, very easy, beginner friendly.
Hmm.
Anyway, I digress. But
No,
you
it's
should
great.
totally come. You
Yeah,
should
I'm
totally
down.
come because it was so fun. Like, just thinking about like different avenues, right? Like,
Yeah.
in general, fitness, it's good to kind of do different things and be able to move your body in different ways. And so, I mean, I just felt pure joy after the class. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Pure joy. Were
Pure
there
joy.
now were the hip hop songs relevant to our generation? Were like, what was that like?
So pretty much it was just one song. You're just learning the
Okay, got it.
choreo for
Understand.
one little song. And to be
Yeah.
honest, I didn't even know what the song was, but I didn't even care. It was so much fun. It was like a
Yeah.
hip hop femme class. I'm like, ooh, I don't
Cool.
know. I'm like, I'm not like that feminine kind of, but it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
so much fun. I had
Yeah,
a
I get
blast.
it. I love
Like
it.
I'm going every Thursday.
Hell yeah. Okay. What time is it at?
It's a little late. It's at 8, but
What is
I,
it with
I
people? I get it. Like if 9 to 5ers or whatever,
it is hard.
yeah, I get like going before work or after work or however the work schedule is these days with people because your schedule's not really 9 to 5. It's all over the
Uh,
place. But I'm in bed by 8. You know what I mean?
I
Like
know.
5 o'clock right now. This is my cutoff in life. Like 6 p.m. Like because like I wake up so early, but not like not for this obviously, but
Yeah.
like yeah, I was talking to another guest that I just had on, a girlfriend of mine, Diana, who's on the episode this week, like that's out. We were both
Yeah.
saying the same thing. We are like 8 o'clock, like an event starts at 9 o'clock. I can't.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm trying to shift my bedtime because I mean, thinking about before community, I've been doing CrossFit too, and so I try
Mhm.
to go at like 5:30 in the morning. So
Yeah.
sleep is such a big part of recovery, and I feel like that's the
Yeah.
hardest part to kind of hone in, especially when we're trying to get so much done in our days. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little tough that it's so
Yeah.
late, but I'm like, okay,
Because
once a week,
you have to be up
yeah,
early the next day. Like that's my thing is like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not that I'm not trying to be a bougie brat because it's one day a week.
No,
Cool. You know what I
it's
mean? But like
no,
that
but it's
day will mess up the next day, that messes up the next day because I'm up
no.
so early.
It's so true. I don't work Fridays, so if it's
Yeah.
ever like it hits me hard, it's a Thursday night, I can sleep in Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
That's
okay,
smart.
it gives me wiggle room, but I'm also trying to keep consistency so my body knows like its rhythm.
Yeah.
So
Especially when you're starting to really pick up with with the half training.
yeah, so that's been the biggest thing is like sleep is the biggest thing I'm trying to preserve and nutrition.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel you on
See,
that. And I
physical
think it's
therapists aren't perfect either.
no, not at all. And if anything, I feel like it makes me a little bit more empathetic towards things or understanding some of the resistance. I'm like, okay, like, yes, I'm like, yeah, do your home exercises. I'm like, okay, well, I got to practice what I preach too. So
Yeah.
literally the other day, I was talking to a patient who was having a little bit of a resistance doing some home exercises. And it is super important to be able to come into me, get some work. I'm going to show you things, but doing things maybe once or twice like does help. But like if you really want to get the best that you can be, like that's kind of under your control. Like I can't make someone do something, but I can give
Hmm.
the advice of like if you kind of stay consistent with this, like you might heal a little bit faster than if you just do like the once or twice with you or with me.
Yeah.
Even though you're going to get better if you're doing that, but. And so she was having that resistance, and so I was like, okay, this is accountability for me. I'm a huge body doubler. Like if people have resistance to that, like find a buddy to text. I was like, I will text you when I do mine, and you text me when you do yours. And like,
Fun.
and not even like a whole list. I'm like, I'm gonna give you one exercise. If you don't even do multiple sets, like doing like one little set of something it has a lot of benefit. Like I know we talk about doing like 3 to 5 sets of something, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you even do one set of it, that's like significantly better than you not doing it at all. So instead of it making like super overwhelming or doing this like big long list, start with like one thing. So I was like, okay, I'll text you, you text me.
But like right there, that's such a true testament of just the type of person you are, because not only is this a client of yours, but you are willing to go above and beyond by ensuring that they have a little bit of accountability when they're not even coming in physically to you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that you don't see that often. Like there are a lot of physical therapists where it's just like you're here for the 20, 30, whatever minutes that you're here with me, hour, and then you're gone, and it's just like that's it. And for you, like that shows just how much you're dedicated to your clients and your people, but also what keeps them wanting to come back and why. For instance, like I love working with you and I love you, with like forced physical therapy and how we have you come out to the events is because you are those types of people where you care, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
that's so huge because that's going to really trickle on to that person and make them start to develop really, really, healthy habits, And so
Yeah.
good for you for that.
No, I mean, I appreciate you saying that because I mean, it
Yeah.
is tough. And I think too, I think the biggest transition, even from me being an athlete in college to then going outside of it, is I had so much structure.
Mm,
And then leaving, it was like, I don't know when I'm supposed to work out now. Someone always told me what to do. Like, how do I actually like do this in my day? And it's someone like I know how to lift, I know how to do these things, but structuring that was a huge challenge and something I'm still trying to work through.
yeah.
And so I understand that like it's not like, oh yeah, just go do this. Like some people just have resistance to like walking into a gym. Like some people have resistance to the things that like, oh yeah, like just do this. Like
Yeah.
it's not as easy sometimes. So it's like finding ways to break down the barrier and being able to introduce people to fitness in a way. It's more than just, okay, people are hurting, but how can we then help change their lifestyle a little bit and
Yeah.
help create habits? Because it's hard, like it's not always as easy. Some people it just like doesn't seem as scary or it's like not that big of a deal, but to some people it's like a little intimidating. And I
Yeah.
kind of get that. Even with someone who has good knowledge and like the lifts I'm doing, I still get a little bit of gym anxiety sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
like, what if people are watching me? People
No.
aren't really watching though.
No.
People
And of
don't
course,
care.
like, and it's just the culture of today with everything. And I mean, the cult clicky culture with, it's not even in gyms. I was talking about it, I talk about it all the time too, like with running and how oversaturated it
Yeah.
is in run clubs and then the Pilates era and all this stuff. It's just with everything when it becomes so big and it becomes very much this like clicky cult with social media and all, it can become very intimidating because
Yeah.
I mean, before all of that, still people like before even social media or anything, like people were terrified to still go into the gyms because they felt like if you weren't jacked back in the day, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Then
Yes.
like going into the gym with a toned body or a little scrawny or even heavy set would be like,
Yeah.
social suicide. So I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, no matter what, it's an obstacle.
Yeah. Especially in Miami too, everyone's so like
Oh yeah.
fitness heavy,
Yeah.
all
Because
that aesthetics,
we have no seasons. It's 99 degrees, 100% humidity, January to December. So if you don't have, your beach body, then like
Yeah.
it's God forbid.
Yeah, for sure.
Forced physical therapy is definitely highly respected in Miami, and y'all are growing and you have different locations, and y'all work with a lot of different clients, professional athletes, obviously, all different types of professional athletes in different realms. What is the biggest difference in mindset between a pro athlete recovering from an injury and an everyday athlete?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like recovering from an injury itself is going to be hard, like mentally on anyone, right? In
Hmm.
terms of if someone is not able to do the things that they want to do, that's going to put a toll on them. It's going to be frustrating.
Hmm.
Obviously, like I think for me, the biggest thing is more kind of like for pro athletes, like that's their job and they kind of are in this environment of like when they're in like with their team that it's kind of instilled too. Like they know that they do this, the weight room, they do this, they go to the training room. So it's already
They're
instilled of,
robotic.
it's kind of like known, like even for me, I'm like, oh, I've always known, like, okay, take some time to do some mobility, training room vibes, like get some soft tissue work. And some people like just never knew that that was an option or
Hmm.
like where to go even for it
Yeah.
or know how to do it.
Like even
So
just to
I
grab a band and do some banded work before you do a track
totally,
day. you know?
a quick little activation
Yeah.
or like anything like that. People are just so quick to like go right into it, and it's fine. But
Mhm.
definitely in terms of like, it's not the end of the world if you don't. But there is a lot of benefit of being able to activate some of these muscles. Sometimes our muscles get a little dormant, or people's movement patterns are a little
Especially with an
little
injury too.
off. Absolutely. So being able to just like prime and prep your body, like
Yeah.
sometimes, there's times where people are feeling things and they might actually be able to do more than they think. And it's just sometimes it's a little bit of that extra back end work. So I think the hardest part is knowing that there's like extra effort that has to go in. Like it's almost more work to be injured than not,
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
But I would just say the biggest difference really is more of understanding like the time and resource that they may have. I
And
feel
the
like
availability of things.
the availability, really, I mean, not saying that like pro athletes definitely have like a lot of other personal, familial stuff. Like there's a lot of things they have to work with, but it's like part of their job and that's what they kind of do.
Mhm.
And they just like know like that's what pays the bills, is like being able
Absolutely.
to stay on it.
Smart. Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah,
So they're like,
and
if I have an injury, I can't keep fucking up because I'm not going to be able to take care of my family.
yeah, whereas like the everyday athletes, like I think they're just as motivated. Sometimes they don't always have the tools. Like I've had athletes like Ironman challenges, everything like that. And sometimes it's like, yeah, my job's been crazy. Like my work hours are crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
finding those times when, life gets busy to be able to implement that, especially when they're doing like all the time for training. Like you have all the time in the world, like, and not all the time in the world. You have a certain amount of
Yeah.
time, and then if you're doing big training that takes hours, like especially if you're talking about the Ironman that's doing like, or like the long distance running, like anything
Yeah.
like that, it takes hours sometimes for training. So it's
Yeah.
like finding that time can be a little bit more challenging, and it's not a lack of them not wanting to. It's sometimes just the availability and just kind of like understanding. So it's just kind of a little bit of a spectrum in that regard, because there are some people that go out there, especially if they're like, I mean, I consider like everyone a little bit of an athlete, right? Everyone's a little athlete. So if it's like their first time in their athletic journey and they're getting out there, they just might not know the resources to do it
Yeah.
versus, you
I
have like the big time
recover
athlete that
as
does.
if I am a Hall of Fame, like,
As you should.
you know what I mean? Like
As you
soccer
freaking
player,
should.
football player, baseball player, whatever it is, because like, I'm sorry, but like, if like I'm going to get an IV on Saturday, like right after one of my
Yeah.
events and stuff, like I'm going in a hyperbaric chamber, like I'm going to be seeing
Yeah.
you before I leave for Chicago. Like I have to actually, I really need to.
Yeah.
But
No,
like,
no, we're
I
gonna schedule
treat
something.
myself, yeah, I treat myself like that because knock on wood, I've not had an injury. And
Yeah.
it's not, and that's not something to brag about, but it's like in the sense of, yes, I've had ticks and things,
Yeah.
whatever, in my hamstring, but like, that's the one thing is I can't allow myself to be put out because of something that I could have prevented. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, or
Yeah.
pushing myself too hard.
Prevention is key. And I think that, I mean, you said that, and it's good that you like, I mean, obviously you know that, and that's why you're able to keep running,
Yeah.
as long as many miles as you do and it not take you out. Because a lot of times people come in when they're already injured, or
Yeah.
like they don't understand that there are things that you can do for prevention. Or there's times too when people come into me and they have an injury, and as soon as their pain's gone, they think problem gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, yes, the pain's gone. That's step one, but like,
Hmm.
let's make sure it doesn't happen again. Like, let's
Yeah.
make sure we're taking the steps that are necessary to, make sure. But you should train like you're like a full blown athlete, because I was even I just said that to someone. I think this morning I was getting my hair done, and I went to my hairdresser and I said, we were talking about diet and eating. I was like, yeah, I think I need to start like eating like I'm about to play soccer again. Like,
Smart.
because I was so intentional, because I
Yeah.
cared so much about what I was putting in my body, because I did not want to go out in the field, not have enough fuel, or like feel super sluggish because I ate something bad. Like,
Yeah.
and then like I was so, I mean, granted, I ate a lot of random stuff. Like I wouldn't say I was the healthiest eater
Well,
when I was
also
there, but
you were burning way more calories than you are now.
I,
I mean, let's think about it. And on
yeah,
top of that, all the training
yeah,
and practices. So like, I mean, because
yeah,
in soccer too, by the way, you're running miles and miles and
yeah,
miles. So like, it's a
yeah.
different, yeah,
But
beast.
I would say like even the calories I was taking in then, like
Yeah.
I probably could have been a little bit more nutritious with it. And I actually think like
But you were
now, like
younger too, your
I would,
metabolism
yeah, and now I'm like metabolism, no,
was
it does not act like that.
slowing down.
Yeah, and I was like, I need to start living life and training like I'm legit an athlete because
But
I
you
think
should be
that's what keeps
because
me motivated.
but
Yeah.
you are an athlete, like, you know what I mean? And not
Yeah,
even that, but
I
like
know.
you are training for a half marathon. So like you can,
Yeah,
I think you
exactly.
really should just switch that mindset again, truly.
No, absolutely. And that's why I'm like getting back into that, like, okay, let's work.
Yeah, I
And so
love it.
everyone should embody that, you know?
Yeah.
And it gets, again, I just had that moment of like, oh yeah, I wasn't an athlete again. But like, no, we're all little athletes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I love that you said, which is something that I want to discuss because I actually I thought this prior to probably starting to go see you. But you know, the whole aspect of, like you said, that people think physical therapy is for when you're injured,
Yeah.
not as something that you use to help build up, you know, strength in different areas of the body, or to obviously prevent injury, or to obviously tune up the body. And I think that's
Yeah.
so smart because I did too think that. I thought that, like, well, why would I go to physical therapy? I'm not hurt, or like
Yeah.
I don't have a prior injury that I need to work on. And it's like that. No, no, no. So can you kind of dive a little deeper into that and it kind of explain the difference between, like, okay, yes, physical therapy, you have an injury, versus that preventative?
Yeah, absolutely. It really comes down to also our healthcare system. Like, think
Yeah.
about how anything is. Like, we go when we're sick, right? And so, yeah, I mean, that's something that in all aspects of health, people have been. I mean, I think now there is a little bit more of a shift, and people are definitely more health conscious and starting to like look into those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a difference of, okay, someone comes in, you have an injury, okay, we're gonna focus on the little fine tuning, or especially if you're starting to feel a little something feels a little off with your body, like that's when you really should come in before something starts to like really trickle down and take you out of something. Like, kind of
Yeah.
listen to your body and recognize if something's been feeling a little weird, and sometimes it's not even an injury, but if it feels off, sometimes it just needs a little bit of like a mobilization of a joint, a little bit of getting the,
Mhm.
the WD-40, make it all like smooth,
Yeah. I love
you know what I mean?
WD-40.
Like, yeah,
Yo,
like
I use
fine
that
tuning
shit
that
for
stuff.
everything.
Like, basically like WD-40 in your body, like just fine tuning some stuff. So sometimes even if you don't even know what's up, like that's part
Yeah.
of what we do too. Like, we do a little bit of a functional movement screen. Like, I'll look
Hmm.
at the whole body, see how it moves. I like to see moves that mimic what you're doing currently and seeing
Hmm.
if there's anything biomechanically that might could be better. Like, it's not
Yeah.
necessarily like there's some movements, like not all movements have to be like perfect or anything like that, but you can definitely see if there's like limitations, like see if
Yeah.
there's range of motion limitations. Okay, like this might be not an issue now, but okay, maybe you're a little bit limited in this, a
Like,
little
for
bit
instance, like my
weaker
hips with my
here.
glutes.
We will definitely be fine tuning those.
But yeah, no, but that's what I'm like, kind of an example. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I have
exactly.
my range of motion and my hips can be shot because of how much pressure I'm always putting on from running.
Exactly. And it's great. Like, you don't have pain. That's awesome. Now let's keep prolonging it. You're doing everything. And that's what I love. It's like, you're like, okay, like game, let's do it. Like, let's
Mm.
get it. Let's fine tune it. Let's make it better. Like, run for as long as you can. That's really what it is. Like, you don't want to just run for now. Like, you want to be able to run for like as long as you can
And
before we
touch my
start getting,
toes.
yeah, like
Like,
before we start, like, we don't think about our future selves like that in terms
yeah.
of, yeah, we're a little bit more resilient now. We're not
Yeah.
feeling it, but it's like all the years of this build up, build up, build up, build up, build up, and then we're like, okay, my joints are like not having
Yeah.
it, right? So
Well,
it's,
also to like your like your tendons and your ligaments. Like, I want to be able to like sit down on a toilet and get back up, you know, and
yeah,
not have to
for
have like
real.
the handles on the side because I
Yeah,
didn't properly, you know, take care of my body.
no, for sure. And it's, my knee, like even my knees from soccer, like they're pretty beat up, but pretty beat up, but you strengthen. Like, I know for me, it's like, okay, like as long as I strengthen and I'm good, like I don't feel my knees, like my MRI, my knees look like I should have knee replacement soon. But I don't feel that because
Yeah.
I've strengthened so much. So I've protected my
That's
joints for
amazing.
like the longevity. So it's the same for everyone else. And sometimes people just don't recognize in the moment because they feel fine. I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. Current person, like current state, good, but let's like make sure that it doesn't lead there, you
Yeah.
know?
Definitely. No, that's fine. We love
If you
dogs. Dogs are allowed to bark on the pod. Dogs are allowed to bark. Kids are allowed to scream. I don't like cats, but we'll allow it.
don't really make too crazy loud of noises.
Yeah, like cats or whatever. Yeah. As long as the
Yeah.
cat doesn't, I don't know. I don't trust cats. Since you've been out at my running events and you see exactly how everyday runners move, what is the most common mechanical mistake or red flag you spot in the wild?
In the wild. So it's, I don't think people like mean for it to be a mistake, clearly, but it comes down to like certain muscles working, but it's a
Yeah.
very, very common thing for runners and most people. Like, I mean, I had the same my biomechanics are the same, but like luckily I know what I know, so I work to fix it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times for runners, it's they kind of have like the pronated feet, their
Mm.
knees collapsing, like their hips are dropping. It's like that
All
whole
the shoulders, as you
all
can see, like my
yeah.
shoulders
I mean, I am too. Like it's not like I have to
from
yeah.
the running.
It really comes down. I see a lot of in terms of. I mean, there's gonna be definitely a lot of knee issues for sure, but
Yeah.
it all comes. It like when it comes to running, it is a full chain event, and whether it be from like the ankle up or the hip down, and like
Hmm.
most of the times, like anything that results from it is typically from like a hip
You think
and
it's more
ankle.
in than out?
How do you mean?
Like with your ankle, because you said pro. So are you saying that a lot of
So
people
I know
pro
I
and
was like maybe yeah I was like I need to like get up and like show you.
yeah.
I'm like let me pop up on the table.
Yeah.
Whatever you figure out.
Okay, so everyone, you're gonna have to watch this episode because we're gonna now we're teaching you biomechanics right now.
Oh yeah, let me like come back a little bit. Let's see
Yeah,
how
yeah.
this is. I was like, let's just move all this stuff away. And I'm oh,
There we go. I love this.
I have you on my phone. So
Yeah.
okay. I don't know if you can see this from over here. It looks like I'm not wearing pants, but I am. But pretty much I don't even know if you can see, but a lot of
Yeah.
times like it's like this cave in, like they go run and like the knees are caving in, the hips dropping in. So you get this like I don't know if you can kind of see like a lot of like this moment
Got
happening,
it.
right?
Yep.
So like the
Yep.
knees, that was not a good demo, but you
No,
got
but
what I
yeah,
mean
yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You get it, you get it, you get it.
So it's almost
Um
like bow-legged.
Opposite, like knock knee,
Opposite?
like valgus. But it's like
Okay.
bow legged. It's more like you kind of see both, and like the bow legged knock knee, like
Yeah.
that kind of sometimes can be like a just general bone deformity. But
Yeah.
in reality, a lot of those like the foot caving in that like internally rotates the tibia, which then internally rotates the femur, and that means like your hip external rotators aren't firing. That helps stabilize your pelvis and make sure your knee stays aligned. So it has like that trickle up and down effect,
Yeah.
and affects the way that you're basically accepting and loading forces onto your joints and like the muscles that are being utilized. So it's more of some of those positions decrease some of the muscle activity of important stabilizers. And then also it's more of a fact of also seeing just like how people land.
Yeah.
So a lot of times like I mean the big thing with like running and everything is being able to absorb force too.
Yeah.
It's like absorbing and then also like having that like rebound effect too, like
No,
being
I
able to
talk
like
about that all the time.
yeah,
Like
like
not the overextending with the stride. Holy shit.
yeah, yeah. I know. I would honestly love to be able to talk to you about like just general running mechanics too, because
Yeah.
I you're gonna be a little bit more specific than I will with that. So I would love to like compare and be
Got
like,
you.
okay, like
Yeah. Yeah.
but it is a huge thing because like yeah, like overstriding it just like the I mean, as you know, like the way that the force is and like the way your foot contact
You can just
goes and like the way
buckle your knee any second.
it, yeah, and you're just like not utilizing the muscles you need to. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of it comes down to being able to absorb force effectively to protect the joints. But a lot of it comes down to just the mechanics, and it's not a lack of people like purposely doing it,
Yeah.
but more of like that's where kind of the physical therapy can come in is okay, let me see you run, let me see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Then I feel like I can literally from someone running, I can already tell what muscles are most likely impaired just by the look of it.
I want to do that when I see you next because the last time we did that was when I was having issue. I don't know if it was the hamstring or my psoas or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but
That's
I
another
like I
common
couldn't
thing.
run for like 6 minutes without like a little tick. So
Yeah,
we're good now, but I just want you to see me
like where
running
we're
just to
at.
see where we're at with things for like I think
Totally.
it's hip because I think I'm noticing that my left side. Okay, well this anyways, we need to move on because no one cares gives a shit about this.
But no,
But yeah.
it's super actually it's super relevant. Kind of
Yeah.
thinking back to like your first question, or not the first question, but the question you said about like common things with running, like that's another important thing is like that lumbopelvic
Yeah.
stabilization. So a lot of times people have a lot of low back pain because everyone, even myself, I gotta get my glutes to fire. You know, we're in this lifestyle, not always lifestyle, but we have to sit. Like our hip flexors get tight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it like changes the way that your hip extends. And if your glutes aren't firing, your hip's not extending enough, your back's going to take the brunt of it. And a lot of that also comes down to like we can have different like core strength, but can you have the control within even a run to be able to control your pelvis while your leg extends instead of having your whole pelvis tilt? Now your hip flexor is working more, your back extensors are working. So it's that's part of what a lot of what I train, especially with runners too, is like, can you keep a core stable while your legs are moving? Because if you don't have that core stable base, then you're just like your whole pelvis is moving. That's why a lot of people, especially with the glutes, a lot of SI joint, a lot of low back
Mm-hmm.
with runners. It's a very prominent, very, common thing that I work with runners.
Absolutely. Love it. This season is all about women who go the distance. In your line of work, going the distance is quite literal. It's about physical longevity. And how do you define strong, balanced body?
Yeah, and I think we kind of like hit on this a little bit
I know.
too.
I feel like we just talk so well that,
I
like,
know. I was
yeah,
like, we'll just kind of, but like, just
yeah,
kind of bringing that back in is it's more than just like your physical ability too. It's how's your sleep, and like sleep is so sleep is so huge,
I know.
and it's one of those things where like I've been trying really hard to like tweak that, and it does take time, but like sleep is huge. Nutrition's huge. I mean, everything's big, it's like it's all important. So it's like if you neglect one aspect of it, then like you're missing a huge part of like your recovery in that regard. So,
Yeah.
making sure, you're doing resistance training, you're getting some cardio, you get the sleep, you get, they always say like mind, body, like spirit, I mean, like making sure too, like not only with like nutrition things, but like having some spiritual ties, like, like for me
Yeah.
too, if I do not get connected with the Lord, like that, it imbalances everything too. So it really does play. If you do look at health, it's like, physical, it's the whole thing. It's
No,
not
it
just,
really is, like, it is spiritual, regardless of your religion or
yeah,
your, what is it called?
like,
Spirituality and
yeah,
things.
yeah,
It, everyone, especially if you are big into training, if you're an athlete or, an everyday athlete, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, I would be surprised. I don't know very many people that don't have some sort of like ritual that they go to when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to their faith, when it comes to something that they go to keep their, like you said, their spirit and their mind and their body,
yeah.
together with
Because
that.
really, yeah, I mean, even like personally, not even within my like fitness journey, but just like my own personal journey in terms
Yeah.
of even like my own mindset, like my mentality, like that goes into it too, like your mental
Yeah.
health, like,
So
like
huge.
everything has to be like well rounded in that regard. And so there's so many different ties. Like obviously the physical helps with the mental health, like the spiritual helps with the mental health. And so like every time I'm connected with God and like pushing through this journey, and it helps you push into new boundaries, and like
Hmm.
stepping into that obedience with him is also helping like achieve more than you realize you can. So that's
Yeah.
going to help unlock like your mental, it's going to help unlock your physical abilities more than you ever knew. So it is super important. And then like you can be super strong but still have imbalances. So just kind of like finding the fine tunes. Like I would say I'm a pretty strong person, but dang, do I got some weaknesses, right? And it's not a
Absolutely. Yeah.
bad thing. Like same, like my glutes need some work. We can do some of the workouts together because
Yeah.
I
Let's do it.
needed I needed it as well. But it's just like making sure you're fine tuning all these things, taking the
Yeah.
time to do a little bit of recovery, a little bit of, just some gentle movement, recognizing that not every day has to be a hard workout, like
Oh
making
my
sure,
gosh, that's something I try to
yeah,
tell my clients all the time too with run coaching. Like they feel like if they aren't exasperated by the end of the workout that they didn't achieve. And it's like,
it's
slow
actually sometimes
down.
can be like the opposite effects. Like
Yeah.
I've noticed sometimes, like when I'm doing runs, I'll do like those three like 5K distance runs, and I'm like, I'm just gonna book it. Like I'm just gonna book it as hard as I can.
Yep.
And then I'm like, my recovery is like 72 hours. I'm like, what the heck? Like I feel like I was tired by like I didn't know how much it like took out of me.
Yeah.
Versus like I'm trying to learn the whole zone two life. So I was like the one day I lived in that zone two, nice, beautiful jog. I loved it so much. And it was like that had more of an effect on my aerobic capacity and everything than like the run that I booked it on,
Yeah.
So like even
I
I'm
always,
trying to
I,
learn.
no, I love that. I was going to say, I always tell people, okay, so this is a good little tip because I think that this is how people will realize how your aerobic efficiency is getting better from the run, like the zone two training is for 1 week. If you do between 3 and 4 or 5 times, however many times you should be running, but it should be around the 4 to 5 times or like 4 times a week at least. For 1 week, run zone two, focus on aerobic efficiency. Even if you get into a little bit of the zone three, like really focus on the zone two.
Yeah.
And then the following week, go and do a speed session or a track workout and go on not a long run, but a semi-long run and see the difference. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like, you'll start to see like, I can last longer with these track sessions. I can
Yeah.
actually like do a 6 by 400 meter repeats and not be
Yeah.
gassed, you know what I mean? And
Because
that's
at that
because of the
time,
week before or the week
yeah.
before that.
Yeah, because at that point you're improving your VO2 max, and so
Yeah.
it's like literally, if people don't know this, I guess I don't have it, but it's like literally like this is like if the aerobic versus anaerobic, like the
Yeah.
cross is where your VO2 max is. So if you improve your aerobic capacity, then like
You're
does this
improving.
make sense?
Yes. Yeah. No, I look at my VO2 max like I look at my credit score, and it's phenomenal.
Love.
Uh,
Yeah, but like exactly what you're saying, like improving, and it's actually, if you really think about it, it is really hard to stay in that zone too. And you
yeah.
realize then how quickly like you're in your anaerobic state during the
Yeah.
entirety of your run.
Especially as
And
women because of our hormonal
yeah,
cycle,
oh,
or like, did we have an energy drink or not? What did we eat? Like,
oh yeah.
is our cortisol through the roof? Like, not even that, but then
Hormonal health.
yeah,
Yeah. Women's
exactly.
health. We didn't even touch like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or how hot it is outside. I mean, are
Hmm.
you stressed out? Like, it's literally like you could never have a perfect run. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's so
The
funny.
heat, man. The heat. I will.
Yeah.
That gets me. That gets
So
me
I'm a
bad.
psycho. Like,
Of course
it's
you do.
like it's a good training tactic. I don't know why I'm going to cut this actually because I don't want people to know, but it's just a really good training tactic in a sense, but I don't condone it for people because for me, it is like yesterday I was at the track doing my speed work, but I'm just like thinking in my head, like how fucking fast I'm going to be when it comes
Hmm.
October and everyone else,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah. You're like, well, my half marathon's in November and it's gonna be cooler. I'm like, and
Yeah.
like net downhill. I'm
Yeah.
like, great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So setbacks are a huge part of going the distance. Obviously, when a woman comes to you with an injury that, derails her goals, which is obviously, the worst, how do you coach her through the mental and emotional toll of recovery, not just the physical?
Yeah. I honestly, this is probably the hardest part of my job is being able to kind of be there and kind of work with someone while they're dealing with this mentally, because that is huge. Like if the mental, like there's times where people feel like super hopeless. Like they get to the point where it's like, they get depressed, they get hopeless. Like literally the thing that gave them so much joy, they're
Hmm.
like unable to do right now.
Yeah.
And so I think the biggest thing that I tell people too, especially if they're finding like that little bit of a minor setback with this and like they're not able to do it, I'm like, okay, take this time. Yes, you're not able to do the running now. We'll find ways to build cardio that you can do, like whether it's like we do like biking sprints or something like that. Like we'll
Hmm.
work on something. But let's take this time to like improve your body in ways that it didn't. Like let's take this time as a nice like little deload. Let's slow down. Let's like fine tune a little bit. Like let's get you back better and stronger than you did before.
Hmm.
And like imagine how like think about how good of an athlete you were before. Now think about it with like engaging some of the muscles that are actually going to make you like more efficient.
Yeah.
And so I like to be able to train, like take that time to kind of teach them a little bit more about their bodies so that way they can kind of bounce back quicker and better.
Yeah.
So I think like having them recognize that. And at the end of the day, like I'm not going to be the one that like changes someone's mindset. You know what I mean? Like someone has like, I can give as much like, no one's gonna be like, it's okay. Like it's going to be better. Like,
I hate
it's,
when people are like
you,
that.
you have to just kind of meet people where they're at. Like
Yeah.
when you're in the down bad space, like no one wants to hear that. Right.
No,
I mean, like
I don't
they're
want
like,
to hear the
okay,
cliche, everything happens for a reason. I like punch you in the face immediately.
yeah, like it's gonna be one of those things where like let's take this time to like let your maybe it's like your body's telling you you need a little break right now. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's like find this time to fine tune and like let's get back out there stronger than ever. And
exactly.
so like the quicker that I can find ways for people to be like back on board and knowing that like okay, we're on this mission, like we're not, this isn't going to be forever, this is just a little bit of a state, and then there's like you're going to be better and back and good. Like I
Yeah,
think it's as long as people recognize that like this is temporary, right? Like
yeah,
it's not going to be forever. And like my goal is to be able to like close that gap between like them being out and then getting back in. So
absolutely.
like
Yeah,
that's why like it can be super tough because I'll take that in. Like I like want them like I want them back as quick as they can because I don't want anyone to feel that way. I don't want anyone to get in a state where they're mentally down. Like it is just like it's the hardest to see, and like I've been there myself in situations where like I've just been not myself, and like you can get all the advice in the world. Like it's hard sometimes when you're in that hole to be able to get yourself out of it. So
Yeah.
it's like I want to be able to like make sure people don't get there. That's why the quicker people can come in, the quicker we can make these changes and the less time you're going to be out,
Yeah.
and like being able to find ways to still be as specific with training as possible without like completely like maybe you're not running 5 miles, but maybe we can do more. Maybe you can tolerate a tempo run, like where we
Yeah.
can do more like volume, but maybe it's not as consistent, like a little bit of a running program. Like we're jogging point one, we're walking point one. So yes, it's not exactly what you were doing, but it's little steps towards where you were,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, physical therapy is not for when you're injured, it's the prevention. And even if you're starting to feel like a little bit of anything to come in, because that way you don't have to be set out. And then you don't have to worry about going down this, mental spiral of being,
Yeah. And it's one of those things where like, yeah, obviously physical therapy is when you're in pain, but it's not just when you're in pain. Like
exactly.
recognizing that it's more than just coming in when you're in pain for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, I think it's tough when people like, it definitely hits people hard, and I'm still learning, to be honest, how to appropriately have these conversations, because I mean, I
Yeah.
deal like not even just with running, but like anyone who comes in with like chronic pain, like it's basically if you have pain for a long time, it changes like how like your nervous system changes. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's like not even like your body's gonna maybe perceive it as a threat when it's not as scary. So sometimes my
Yeah.
job is to be able to like expose people back into those things and recognizing like, hey, like maybe you were doing some strength training and like you did a deadlift and your back hurts. Like I'm gonna also teach you that like that's not a bad exercise. Your body just wasn't ready for that motion. Like your spine needed to be a little bit stronger. Let's build it stronger, and like let's get you to be able to not be afraid to bend over again. Like
Yeah.
let's get you into those things. So there's a whole spectrum of it, and it's a really tough one, and it's also sometimes my favorite because it's like it's super rewarding to see people who are like in this really down bad spot and then they go back and they're killing it.
Yeah.
Like I love seeing like people like go out and
Absolutely.
kill it,
Hell yeah. And the thing about it is too, is like in retrospect, like I'm talking about stuff that like you've done for me and stuff. And my PT is so minute compared to some of the people that you actually, work with that like have been in accidents or have had actually like life altering situations where they weren't able to move a certain part of their body, or they weren't able to function like a normal, quote unquote human.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
how like you've not only got them there physically but mentally too. Because I mean, I walked in where you're finishing up a session with somebody, and I mean, someone wasn't able to move their hand right or something before, and just to see that they're able to like do that is just very, I'm sure, really, really rewarding on your end.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely is a challenge, but it's so rewarding to like that's why like I'm gonna push the what you need to do. Like thinking about an athlete, like I was an injured athlete. Like I know what it's like to be out of the sport, feel a little bit out of your community. Cause like not only then are you not being able to do what you love, then you're missing the community aspect. Like you feel
Mm-hmm.
a little isolated. Like I know what that means. So like when you come in, like I also want to make sure like not only are we gonna get you better, but like I want you to like laugh a little bit. Like I want you to like enjoy your time. I'm like getting emotional with this.
Oh,
I'm like, I want
no,
you
that's
to
okay.
I want you
Great.
no, like I want you to like enjoy something about it, Like
Yeah.
I literally had a patient in and she like cried the other day because of trying something that was scary. And
Wow.
but like she like overcame it and she's like, I wasn't expecting that to like be okay. I'm like, good, like cry, like let's have fun, like let's get through this together. Like, yeah,
Crying is healing, by the way, guys. Like,
yeah,
I
like
think that's
let
so
it
funny. Like,
out, let it out.
like, if you don't understand crying, go like research or Google crying, and
Yeah, let it out.
it's actually a really form, like a real form of healing. And
Yeah,
it's funny because I actually read this article. I really want to share it. Maybe I will, because like sometimes I'll share articles of like what I talk about on
yeah.
the podcast, and it was about how your tears when you are cutting an onion are different from when you're crying because of emotion. It's
Oh, I
like,
mean, I feel that too.
yeah, like it's crazy, like the crystals in it and all, and everything that comes out
Okay.
of your eyes when you're crying with like an onion versus when you're crying from emotion. And when I read
Mm,
that, it put things into perspective so much about crying, because obviously
yeah.
too, like male, female, I mean, females, we're allowed to cry, whatever, but like even with
Yeah, but
males and
males
stuff being able to,
too, like cry
yeah,
it
dude,
out.
cry. Like I am
Yeah.
all about like an ugly cry. I'm all about like falling on your knees, cry, staring in the mirror, crying, whatever it is that you need to do, like cry.
Yeah. Yeah, I've like been with like this is also where sometimes I need to be careful in terms of the realm. Like I've had patients and like they're crying to me and I'm like cry, like let it
Yeah.
cry. But I also need to know like I need to know my personal scope. Like I'm not a therapist. Like I'm not like
Absolutely.
a mental therapist. So it's like I also need to know like, okay, are there signs where I need to like,
Notify.
suggest things? But at the
Yeah.
same time, I want people to be able to just like let their emotion out because they might be in a state where like they don't have that or they're trying to be the strong one at home. Like they're the mom that like tries to keep everything together and like
Hmm.
I'm the person that they just need to like vent to. I do
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. No, and I mean, every time I cry, like I can feel like my body, like
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
relief.
as tight, like I'm less
Yeah.
sore, like it's just, yeah. And I mean, so cry, damn it. Who cares?
Cry it. Nothing's better than like a good shower cry, like or like
Yeah.
a
Yes. I
or like
am, what kind of, I love a good car
I
cry.
was okay. I was just gonna say car cry, but I was like, I don't want people to think like my eyes are blurry and I can't see the road. But like the car,
Please, of course,
but the
like a
car,
Sally cream cheese will like comment that,
yeah,
like,
right.
you're not watching the road.
But for real though, the car cries because like sometimes it really is like you just left work and it was a hard day and you're like,
Yeah,
I just need to like I've been holding this in and like I just need to let it go.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm here for it.
The car cries do hit different.
During peak training seasons for half or full marathons, runners are logging serious miles, obviously. And I think we've kind of talked about this. What
Hello.
does an optimal recovery protocol look like between those long weekend runs?
Yeah, and this is something that honestly, like you probably are going to have more experience and knowledge with this as well. But I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying, like making sure you're sleeping and
Yeah,
you're putting in those other bits and like
absolutely.
actually taking the time, especially if you're not. I think there comes a bit of time too of understanding how to appropriately load and deload. And so like when people are loading like they haven't ran more than 3 5 miles and all of a sudden they go for like an 8 mile run. Like granted, like I'm totally that person. Like I say this and I
Most
know like
are, most are.
like like I know the consequences. I know like if I'm feeling something, I'm like
Yeah.
that's because my body was not ready for that load. And
Hmm.
it's not saying that like it won't ever be ready for that load. It just is not ready now for that load.
Yeah.
So you just gotta like prep it and like the best way to make sure your body can stay healthy is like making sure we're like having that little bit of a full load week to week.
Yeah.
But especially if you know that you're like, I probably pushed a little bit more than I'm used to, like take a little time for some of that TLC, a little bit of the mobility work, a little bit
Hmm.
of the soft tissue, a little bit more of the activation, like the little stuff. And it doesn't have to be long. Like people think that it has to be like this full blown, like 30 minutes. I'm going massages for like, if you can, great. Like, but if not, like just that extra 5 10 minutes, like even after the run or like
Hmm.
before the run, like that little bit like goes a long way. Like
Yeah.
I would say I always say this to every runner. I want to give them a little band. I'm like, if you can just do a little band work for the glutes, you do some little squats, you
Literally.
work on the calves. Like people kind of neglect the calves, but the calves are like super important with running. So it's like strengthen your calves, guys. Like
And you
people
can
don't
tell the people that don't take care of their calves and that are
like.
runners
I've got
because
shin
it's,
splints.
yeah, or it's this type of it's the type of strike, and like I
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
know how to explain it,
No,
but
I
you
get
can
it. I
tell
get
when
it.
someone either has like these buff calves that they don't take care of, or these
Yeah,
overused calves where it's like lactic acid buildup
yeah.
galore, and the way they run, it's crazy.
Yeah, you got these like over toe striders. I'm
Yeah,
like, we're not sprinting here. Like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
you're like, you can be on your 4 feet when we're sprinting, but like running, it's like you're like, get a little bit nice, like force absorption going
yeah,
on it. Like, I know what you mean though.
yeah.
And then kind of going up to the lactic acid buildup, like, especially for like longer runs, I'm always like, let's put my legs against the wall. If you got some
Hmm.
compression boots, like,
Yeah.
find those.
I was
Like,
actually just doing compression boots while I was
yeah,
like finishing up stuff before we got on here.
yeah, good. I mean,
Yeah,
some of our locations have them. I don't have them. I need to find a way to like sneak some into the clinic,
you
but
should.
I
And
I
it's
know.
worth it. I mean,
It's worth it. It's worth it.
I know that you can get like, obviously I have the high price ones, but like, and that's not actually like I have the high price as in like money, meaning like yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like the Nordic or whatever
Normatex.
Normatech, yeah, whatever it is. Yes, I
Yeah,
do
yeah,
have them, but I also had to deal with them and it worked out. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you can't afford, the super expensive ones, you can buy like bootleg kind. Just make sure you're looking at the different types of like how like the compression
It
is.
compresses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because some of my, I mean, like, because like I wanted to make sure that my like with my, oh my gosh, with my veins and stuff, like I don't want
Yeah.
anything that's like compressing in an awkward way or anything where you start to have some
Yeah.
issues.
It's also like how you put the boots in. Like I remember the first time I put compression boots on, like I didn't put it correctly on my ankle. I was like, oh my gosh, this hurts, hurts, hurts. But like it's just
I know
like
what you're
the
talking
way,
about when you don't. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, this hurts. And
It almost looks
also
like it's
like
like pulling your skin apart kind of vibe.
yeah, yeah, like
I don't
push,
know. It
and
was
also
weird.
just like recognizing like the intensity at first, like with the
Mhm.
squeezing. But even if you
I'm
don't
on like
have,
level 7. Like I'm like I need
oh,
more
I mean,
levels. I need like
am
level
too.
80, please.
I mean, I am too. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that. But I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't used them in a while. But even just like if you don't have that, like just put your legs up against. I used to do that all
Yeah.
the time. Like put your
Like
legs up against the wall.
it's huge.
Just walk. I don't know, like just getting
Well, you
some
can also
movement.
buy
Like
compression socks too. I mean, for
huge for
sleeping
people.
and
Yeah,
stuff, like feet up against the
yeah,
wall, then compression socks, especially like when you're sleeping, like that makes a hell of a difference.
it does. It really does.
Yeah.
And just like ankle pumps, like you just go and just pump your ankle. Like that's gonna get like drainage going too. It's like
Yeah.
the little things.
Yeah, exactly. What would you say? So obviously I love yoga. I try to do it twice a week. Some weeks it's down one. I at least have to have yoga once a week and it's either on a Monday or a
Yeah,
Friday. But what would you say? Because since we were talking about kind of recovery, because there's also a type of recovery where you're kind of
yeah.
overdoing it and overstraining, which means like either overstretching or if you're in yoga and you're overdoing it. So what would you say would be over recovery, overdoing it to potentially actually, you know, counteract?
Yeah. So I would say it depends on like maybe how it depends on the person. So I'm gonna kind of go in a couple different avenues. So in terms of yoga, like yoga and stuff, great. I think like you do it once a week. Yoga Pilates, amazing. I think if you're only doing yoga Pilates, we definitely got like need to add some other
Yeah.
things. But like I myself, I'm like I need to add back yoga and Pilates for sure.
Mhm.
I think it's amazing. I think it's just knowing like how far of a stretch you can personally go. So like go to like a comfortable pull, not like you're trying to rip your muscle apart.
Yeah.
And then really too, like I think the big thing is once you kind of gain some mobility, and that's the nice thing about yoga Pilates is you are building strength within the new range, and that's super important, or else you're gonna kind of lose it. I would say in terms of the overstretch. So this happens a lot with people who have hypermobility is they have this feeling that they need to stretch all the time. And they're
Mhm.
clearly super mobile. Like it's not like their muscles are tight and they just have the feeling that they need to stretch. So it's like, oh, my muscles are so tight, but like their leg is like behind their leg, like behind their head. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, most of the times that feeling of things getting tight is actually their joints. So because, with hypermobility, they have more like laxity in the joint, so it requires a lot more of your muscles to be able to support the joint. And so a lot of times with hypermobility, they like live on their ligaments, right? So they're not utilizing the muscle to support them. So that then puts a lot of joint stress. So then it has that like feeling and sensation of I need to stretch when it's like, no, no, no. At that point, like instead of stretching, maybe we get some light activation of the muscle. And that's actually going to help. Like if you're going to do some mobility, right? Like we've done this like the hip cars, right? So instead of just doing like a passive stretch, like why don't you like take your hip and actually like utilize it for its full range. So like then you're actually activating the muscles and you're getting a range of motion, but it's not like just a passive stretch when you can clearly already stretch.
Yeah, like being
Like
over flexible.
yeah, like your muscles don't need the stretch. It's really just more of like your body is perceiving like it needs it, but it needs more activation. So like get that feeling of that stretch, but like move the muscle. Have your actively like your muscles do the movement rather than just you passively doing it.
Love it. So good. So good. You were a Division 1 soccer player and multi-sport athlete long before you were a doctor of physical therapy, which is great. Gosh, I never call you doctor. I really should.
You don't have to. And
Dr.
it's like
Sarah, I apologize. I mean,
no,
you worked
literally
your ass off for it.
it, I mean, and before you go into your question, like it is one of those things where, physical therapist is a doctoring degree, and I don't think people recognize that. Like, there's a lot more
Yeah.
that goes into it than just like, oh yeah, just like do some stretches, do some exercises. Like PT goes in so many different avenues.
Who thinks that?
Some people like they just don't recognize it as like a doctoring profession too. Like that
Really, it's
there's
almost
more
like the
than
dentist or orthodontist type vibes where like, they don't consider those doctors or whatever you want to call, there's
I
there,
just think
yeah.
like people think of doctor as like the physician,
Yeah.
right? So
An
it's
ND.
like yeah, like trying to like, they're also doctors obviously, but also being able to say like, oh, like you've been to the physician. Because every time I was like, oh, have you gone to the doctor? Like I'm also like not validating that I'm also a doctor. So I'm saying, oh,
Yeah.
have you gone to the physician? So
Yeah.
that way it shows that like, because a physician has its own procedure with it too, right?
Yeah.
Like it does separate it, but like also not downplaying that I do have a doctorate, but like I don't expect anyone to call me doctor, like that's
I
just like
would.
not.
Oh my gosh, I would be the most annoying. I know it. I would be so bad. I would be like, excuse me, Dr. Jess Rose.
I do. I think it is fun though, like when people are like Dr. Sarah or
I'm going
like
to start
Doc
doing that now. I
Sarah,
feel
you know.
actually just out of respect, I would be signing my
I
name
don't.
that way. I would be going everywhere I would go for like anything. Like when you're checking out, like, what's your name? I'd be like Dr. Jess Rose.
Oh my god. I really don't take it a certain way at all.
No.
As long as you just know I'm a doctor, that's all I
Yeah,
care about. You
exactly.
know.
You're so humble. I love it. So to finish out the doctor physical therapy question, how has your personal definition of going the distance changed from your intense college days or call it, however you call it, collegiate, whatever you want to call it.
Collegiate, yeah.
Yeah. On the pitch to your life now as a medical professional and active woman.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the challenge, especially since I'm still pretty early in my career, is like being able to balance, all this challenges of being
Hmm.
early in the career. But going the distance really means, are you taking the extra steps to not stay where you're at? And that
Hmm.
means like medicine, everything's always evolving. There's new research, everything like that. Like, am I taking the time to go seek that out? Am I practicing at the highest level? Am I going to seek out continuing education? Am I learning and evolving my skills? Because if I just keep the same skills I have now, like great, like I can get people better, but can I get people better quicker, right? And so like
Hmm.
how can I like help in that regard? And it's not only that, then like I think going the distance in this season of my life has really been like, how can I go to the distance for myself so I can provide for the people that I treat? Because if
Mm.
I'm not functioning, then I'm not providing the best care that I can for the people that come in,
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
I want people when they're coming in, like I want to make sure like I'm giving them the hour that they deserve. So it's like I even beat myself up like I have to remind myself that even when they come in, if it's not like the best session ever in my brain, like I know I did something that made them better.
Yeah.
But like I'm like want to make sure like how can I maximize this hour? Like they're coming in, they're taking the time to get better. They're coming to me. Like I need to make sure like I'm on my A game. And that means like I'm taking care of myself. I'm practicing what I preach. And it's difficult. I've had my own challenges and I'm still growing and working through that, but really just taking the time to further my learning, further going for myself so that way I can provide for everyone
I
else.
love it. Yeah. And you are hustling. I will say that every time I come into the office, like, cause the computer's there and your schedule's there. And I'm just like, Jesus, this girl, you don't even have a time to eat. And I mean,
Yeah,
but that's good though.
it's
But that's
bad.
also, no, but that's also just, like you said, starting out and being young and hungry, you know what I mean? And as you
Yeah,
get older, or not older, but as you progress in your career, it gets a little different. And yes, you stay busy, but there's different, I guess
yeah,
you say outlets and stuff, you know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. Because I
One thing,
definitely don't want to make sure I don't like. I think part of the reason I'll like, okay, let me like overlap a bit. Yes, I
yeah.
need to make sure I'm feeling for myself, but like if I can get a little bit more attention to someone and like not have so much of an overlap with another patient, like I don't want to have like multiple, like I don't want to be in a mill, like I don't want so many people at
Yeah,
once. Like I want to make sure like they're getting it out. So I'm like, if I could just like adjust the time a little bit so I can spend a little bit more time, like
that comes with time management. Do not crack your knuckles. Isn't that like 101 for a PT? Doesn't that give you arthritis?
no.
Does it
I
do
mean,
anything?
maybe. It's like the same thing as if I crack your back.
Okay, well then I'm okay with that because I need my neck cracked. I need
Oh
my neck and my back cracked so badly.
You're like, I'm going to be quiet now.
Never mind. I love it. All right, moving on. There's so much noise on social media right now about body mechanics, posture fixes, and instant recovery hacks. What is a current fitness or body trend you are seeing women adopt that actually makes you cringe as a physical therapist?
See about this. I gotta think. Specific like cringe thing. It's more of no, I'm like thinking hard because I go on social media and I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, I'm like that stuff's good. Like I like that.
Well,
Like
that's
there,
actually a good thing, though, then maybe.
it is, and like there's sometimes where I'm like, yeah, it's a little excessive, but like at the same time, like not really. Like I get a lot of good like tidbits. Like there's times like I see people and I'm like, I know that I need to adjust this and I need
Hmm.
to tackle it this way. How am I gonna do that?
Hmm.
And so like sometimes like as I'm learning how to, because if you can find like exercises that get like full body, biggest bang for your buck, like full system, like yes, we need to work on like some isolation stuff, but like the best way to make it like very salient for what you're doing is how does the whole body work together.
Yeah.
So I always like going to social media and I have to discern whether it's like, okay, that seems like a bunch of just like a lot of nonsense versus like, okay, that is actually like
You have really
incorporating
good
everything
algorithm then,
together.
clearly.
I do have a good algorithm.
Because
Yeah, so I don't know what
well,
I
no,
do have
because
a
I mean, I
specific.
run into like, well, in a sense of people providing knowledge or education that maybe shouldn't be versus people, and that comes from anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you must land
I follow
on,
some like I like will see something and I'm
yeah,
like, okay, they know what they're talking about. I'm like, I'll follow that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So like, and yeah,
You've built your algorithm right. Good for you.
yeah, yeah. But no, like you'll definitely see some things, and I think like yeah, I'm trying to think of I can't think of a specific hack right now. But if there's something that you've seen, then that might trigger my brain. To be honest, of like maybe if there's something that you've seen that you're like that seems a little off.
I don't know. I mean, physical therapy wise, I don't follow too many physical therapists. I mean, I follow a couple, but mainly I'm following just to hear the crack.
You and your cracks, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, but I mean,
I love it.
I do get some, I like the ones that talk more about like the plyometrics with, like, strength training or not strength training, but plyometrics with like, running and things like that I like, or,
Yeah.
a little bit of biomechanics with that. I think some that bother me are the ones that they're doing certain movements with shoes on versus shoes off and shoes off versus shoes on. Because
Oh, okay, interesting.
there are some rebounding or bounding movements for running that you should be wearing shoes, especially
That's fair.
if you're on a track, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
feel like
or
when it
like
comes
a
to
turf.
yeah, when it comes to the no shoe thing for a running aspect, I think that's more relevant for sprinting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, again, it's going back to more of like the rebounding warm up
Yeah.
or you like a little bit of the plyometric type of stuff. But there's somewhere I'm looking at this, like, you need more ankle support and not even that, but like you need more cushioning support for your knees, for your hips. You know what I mean? And so I don't know.
So
That's
yeah,
where,
okay, I'll kind of talk about that a little bit.
yeah.
So in terms of like the whole shoes off, I do like to do a lot of training that I do with people with their shoes off because I like to train their foot appropriately. So sometimes like yes, you need to be able to train those muscles, but then they have to know how their foot's going to respond with the shoe as well, and that's super
Hmm.
important and like that's a whole different avenue of like shoes. Like everyone kind of needs like specific shoes for them. Like there's some shoes that like there might be too cushiony for someone, right?
Oh,
Like
let's talk
especially
about the hokas. Like, I don't even get me started.
yeah, and maybe that's good for like your super arthritic
Yeah.
person who really does need extra cushion. But like I was saying before, a lot of people like kind of overpronate. Like they actually need maybe a little bit more stiffness than like you
Hmm.
think. And so yeah, and there's some ways that like you do need to build some stiffness and tissue tendon
Absolutely.
stiffness, and it's
Yeah.
like a mix of both. Like in terms of like landing mechanics, like it's a balance between like pronate supinate. Like you have to have like force absorption, which is like your foot giving in, but then you have to be able to have like stiffness to be able to like bounce back,
So
you
what
know?
about people are doing that like A skips, B skips on a turf with just socks on or no shoes on? Like that to
I
me is insane.
No, I think that's fine. I think because
Really?
like if you're doing like A skips, B skips, like you're doing more for like sprinting. And sprinting you
Yeah.
need like very springy tendons. So like
Yeah.
when you come to springiness, like you're doing pogos, you're doing like less of that
So
like
you think
force
I should do
absorption.
it without my shoes on? I just find that I'm not sure if I get nervous that I'll roll my ankle.
Okay, so let's go over that next time you come in. We'll kind
Okay.
of I'll kind of like
Yeah.
kind of show like because that's in terms of like building this stiffness. Like you need
Yeah.
to have a little bit of both, and like especially with sprinting, it's a lot of stiff, quick rebound. Like your
Hmm.
tendons have to be able to like take that like quick. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different. That's why I think like sprinting mechanics, like doing quicker runs, like no shoes is like okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not someone who's like a component of like barefoot shoes. Let's go run. Like I'm like,
Yeah. No, no, totally.
you know what I mean? But there are certain effects in terms of sprinting. Like I think if you're going for like a long distance run with like barefoot, like no, that's not really kind of what we're going for. But like there is a really big time and place for no shoes. And when it comes to a lot of runners, I'm actually training at least in terms of like muscle activation. I'm having their shoes off. I want to see what
Yeah.
their foot and ankle are
I
doing.
always
Like
have
I'm
shoes off with
working
you.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about running on the beach with shoes?
Ooh.
I know. I know.
I just like I'm just not a big fan of running on the beach, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like you can do it because it's like there's some effects of like, the
The
water can do that, but it's
resistance.
hard because it's like with shoes, like that's kind of tough too. Like I feel like it could have like some good like no shoes is probably the better move to be
Yep.
honest, and it depends on where you're doing it because that's gonna build some stiffness. But even it's hard, like depends on where you're doing it in sand. Like if you're doing it by the water, it's like there's like a decline there.
Yep.
It's like
So your
there's a lot
hips.
of there's a lot of just weird things going on, but it's not like it's like bad. It's just you might feel a type of way after. There's a lot of like stabilization. Like there's a time and place for it to also build some muscle and
Did you
stuff,
ever have your coach? like
Like
throughout.
go run sprints in the sand
Yeah.
and stuff
Or
like
did you ever
that.
play or
Yeah.
like play 5v5 in the like in the sand at the beach? Well,
Yeah,
you
like
grew
I
up in
have done that.
Pennsylvania, but like so I grew
No,
up
but
in
like we would no, but we
yeah,
would go
to
to
like
the
the
beach and we'd
lakes.
play.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
so different. And it's like
Yeah.
obviously gonna be different. Like if I have a volleyball player, like yeah,
Yeah.
go run the sand. Like we
Yeah.
gotta know how to do that. Yeah, it's just it is different. So it's like if you're gonna do it, you have to like kind of know what you're getting into. But like if you're
Absolutely.
just like, I'm gonna go run in the sand like every day, I'm like, I don't know about that. But
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, you know what I mean? Like it's not bad, but just know that like you're gonna have to like you need to have like that much more ankle stabilization than running on ground. And I think like it's fine, but like just know that it's not gonna be the exact same. It doesn't translate exactly over. Like you have to have way more stabilization. So like you might feel a type of way. Your knees might hurt more because,
Yeah.
you know.
Got it. Yeah, exactly. Sarah, the entire heartbeat of this new series, exploring what it looks like for women to redefine strength and success. To close out our episode today, I have to ask you, what does going the distance actually mean to you in this current season of life?
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was saying before, is like making sure that I'm taking steps to grow. And I think for me, I know I kind of mentioned it before, just like my own little resistance to things. Like I have little resistances to things too, like things that I do know, and just making sure that I'm stepping into that and not like letting fear or like everything else get in my way, and making sure that I can do something today that's going to make my tomorrow better. Like if I can do something that's going to improve, you know, how I treat, how I like feel my body, how I, like there's times where I'm like, I don't want to work out. And like remembering even what we talked about before, like, okay, like this is good for the people that like maybe have resistance. Let me just do that 5-10 minutes of mobility work, a little bit of like my rehab. And if that's all I do, that's fine. And that's super effective. And half the time that ends up turning into a full blown workout. But like just making sure that
But
I'm,
that's good though. That's the whole point.
yeah, exactly. That's the point,
I
to
always tell, yeah,
initiate.
like I tell a client, like, if you're not feeling it today, like go out for 10 minutes, just start jogging for 10
Hmm.
minutes. And if you feel like you really have to stop, listen to your body. But I
Yeah.
guarantee you, if it's not because of burnout, which then that's a different situation, you'll keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, speaking about burnout, like that's kind of what I'm stepping into, is like I'm in this like anti-burnout stage where I'm like, let me do the things that are going to prevent me. Like I've recognized the phases that I've been in, I've recognized how I've stretched myself in different ways.
Hmm.
Talking about the lunch, I'm like, okay, I need to be, making sure I'm good with my boundaries and just taking those steps to like really grow and not just stay stagnant. And making sure too, like mentally, that I'm not like limiting myself in that way, or like
Yeah,
making sure like my mind is sharp so I can like have a fresh perspective each day, knowing like today's another day to like get excited, to like do something new, to like get a little bit better, and not every day is
absolutely.
gonna be perfect, but like I have like a new kind of rule for myself. If I'm trying to like build, like don't miss out on it 2 days in a row.
Hmm.
Like if okay, maybe if it was just like one of those days, like you're gonna have days where it sucks, like try to get it to do it, but if it doesn't happen, you better do it that next day then, you
Absolutely.
know
Yeah, I love it. Well, I didn't prepare you for this because it's a
oh
game, it's
gosh.
rapid fire. So
Okay.
I'm basically just
I'm
going to
so
ask
bad
you a
at this.
question and it's either one or the other or just one answer. And don't worry,
Okay.
it's fine. It's only a few.
Okay.
Massage gun or classic foam roller?
Ew. I like a good foam roller.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't like massage guns. It's not my game. Okay, here we go.
I just don't use them enough.
But I love how I always give input. Like every time I play a game, I
No,
always
but I love
start
it too.
answering
I'm
too.
like,
And I'm like, it's not about me.
but I also want to know your answer.
I would say foam roller, even though like it's not like foam
It's
rollers
different.
really don't do
Like,
much.
yeah, it's like if it's like massage versus foam roller, I'm like massage.
Yeah.
Like
But
I
massage
just
guns can like actually make it worse.
it just depends on like I think people need to know the intensity. Like some people are
Yeah.
like, I'm going to drill myself.
And
I'm
then the
like,
next
you're
morning
just
they
like
wake up
not.
and it's like they can't even move.
I need to be more careful with that. I think people like sometimes I'm like people I'm like,
But you're
people are,
also then using like the cream and like working it out afterwards. Like it's different than someone, and also you know the right spots to be hitting the muscle. Like someone
yeah,
could
yeah.
be hitting it within the fascia where it's just like tearing it apart.
I love it when people are like, yeah, my neck hurts, and they're like drilling themselves in.
Yeah,
I'm like, let's not
exactly.
do
Yeah. Dry needling or cupping?
that.
Duh, yes, all day.
Needling. But there,
Um,
when it comes to runners, though, like cupping is super effective. But anyway,
I cut my shoulders at home all the time just because it's so bad,
yeah,
and they're like purple.
yeah,
Ice bath or heating pad?
I would say ice bath, but the ice bath at the gym I'm at is like way too cold, but ice bath.
The absolute worst footwear trend you see people wearing in Miami.
I hate the barefoot shoes. Like,
I've always hated them. I think it's stupid as
oh, like I get it for some things, and like maybe there's things I need to read up more. Like, and I'm not maybe super well versed in maybe the benefits. I just like don't. I just don't like it,
I think
especially if
it's
I'm.
I think it's
Yeah,
just like one of those things where it's just like you're just trying to show that you are, I don't know, like that you
like it
did
depends on what it is.
an
Like half the
Iron
time,
Man or something.
but it's funny because like half the time, if you see me, like I'm working and my shoes are always off. Like I am like literally
But there's a
working without
difference
shoes.
between wearing like not having shoes on and then wearing the ones that are just like
Like with the
with the toes and you no like just I don't yeah I'm
yeah.
not for it at all. What is the most overrated stretch people do before a run?
I mean, I think if you're just doing static stretching before running, like that alone is not always beneficial. It's actually like inhibiting the muscle activation. So
Yeah,
I think if you're just doing like static stretching before, like
it's
you
pointless.
got make it dynamic. Like save the static for after.
Yeah. If you could ban one specific exercise because of the injuries it causes, what would it be?
Okay, so maybe it's not necessarily like the exercise, but it's just like how people do it. And it's like any like high pull or like
Mm,
the way people naturally do like an overhead press. Like they're all like good exercises, but it's just like that's like listen,
the
I know we're talking about
easiest way to
running.
get
I know
injury.
we're talking about running and lower extremity, but dang, the freaking shoulder and everything, like talk
Yeah.
about that, like
Yeah.
which also has a lot of ties with running and the lower extremity, but like
Yep.
anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say like I mean overhead press is fine. I would just say like seeing people do high pulls and just seeing
Or
how
like
they do it
cleans,
like they're fine. Like I do them all. But it's just like how people do it. It's more of the thing that gets
the
me. Like I
technique.
hear it, like oh, I'm having like shoulder pain. I'm like, okay, you're probably doing overhead. Like do the overhead press. Like my goal is to be able to get you to do the overhead press the way you should. But like it's or the lat pull downs. They're like this, right? I'm like
Yep.
all good exercises, all good. It just need to fine tune like how you're doing it, and that's another reason.
Absolutely.
Like functional screen. Like maybe you're just not doing the exercise the way it's supposed to be intended.
Yep. Exactly. What is the most ridiculous injury excuse a patient has ever given you for how they hurt themselves?
This is inappropriate. I mean, I've definitely had some interesting ones in that regard. But I have heard of the way, like, and it's so funny because they'll be like, "Oh, I was just going skiing," but really they like were taking out their trash and like slipped. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I love
Yeah.
when people like, I mean, it always is like the random things, but I love hearing what people like, what
What it
cool
actually
injury,
was.
like what a cool thing was, and like what it
Yeah.
actually was.
I love
Because
it.
it's always, and it sucks because sometimes these injuries are like they just step and land, like it's not actually anything
They just were
crazy.
like being a human. Yeah.
Exactly. Like it just
Yeah.
happens sometimes.
No, that's actually usually how a lot of it does happen,
Yeah.
truly, because it's just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the most common joint or body part you have to treat for PT?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would definitely say like when it comes to the spine, like the low back, cervical
Yeah.
spine, like that's huge. Like we have like it's like everything close to the body, like cervical spine, shoulders, and then spine, like low back, hips. Like those are the big thing because they have
Yeah.
a thing in PT like proximal stability before distal mobility. So half the time people don't know how to stabilize everything here, and then
Yeah.
that's where you know it trickles down everywhere.
Well, we just finished. We're done.
I
I
was like, I
want
just want
to,
to keep talking.
I
I
know,
know.
right? We could really all day, though. That's the
I
problem.
know. I know. I know. I know.
Well, I want to thank you so much. I think that this was really informative and such a different episode because I haven't really had someone come on that really talked more about, like I said, the biomechanics and the body on an aspect with physical therapy. So I thank you for taking your time. I mean, I consider you a friend and a peer in
No,
the
for sure. For
industry.
sure.
And
Yeah.
I can't wait to come see you next week for
Yeah.
sure. You want to tell everybody again where you work so that way they can come see
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, so I'm again with Force Physical Therapy. I'm specifically out of the Wynwood location, right off of North Miami Avenue in the Legacy Gym. I can kind of send the information so if people like in the link want to do it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do a little bit more social media stuff in general. So we'll kind of have to have a collab and make like a nice little like true running video of like the little things that people who aren't sure and like need that first step of some of the things that we talked about today that they have somewhere to go to if they're listening to this and be like, okay, this is a good start. Let me just try this out.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. This
No,
was
thank you.
awesome.
I am so glad that, we met and that we've been in this community. I love being able to follow you and I just am excited to see both of us grow in
Hell
life
yeah.
and like how we can collab together. So thank you so much for having me today.
You're welcome. And that's that.